In this set of videos, we're going to use a dictionary, a list, and some loops all together to make a really complex program. So let's get started. I first went ahead and started a new solution, and I just called it synthesis example. So something kind of like that. And then I want to show you what we're going to be building, because I think that it's always the easiest way to start building something is to look at a finished product. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a TV character list tracker. Now what we're going to do is we are going to be able to put in any number of TV shows, and every TV show can have a list of characters that's going to be of any different size. So for example, if we started to keep track of a TV show, and all of these prompts are going to be validated as well. So if I leave it blank, it says, hey, don't leave this blank or something like that. So let's go ahead and put in a first TV show. So let's say Simpsons. Then it says, great, now let's add in some characters from The Simpsons. And please type in a character from The Simpsons. So let's say if I leave it blank, oops, can't leave it blank. So let's go ahead and type in one of the first characters. So let's say Homer. Got it, Homer was in The Simpsons. Would you like to add another? Now, this is going to be the key thing because it is going to be a loop that is going to always loop as long as the user types in yes. And the only way to stop this loop is to have the user type in no. And we're also going to be using validation to only allow a yes or no answer. So if I put something like maybe, then that's going to be, nope, not acceptable because I only have to type in yes or no. Do you want to add another character? So I'm going to type in yes. And this should be upper or lower case. So just to prove a point, I'm going to put it all uppercase. And please type in another character from The Simpsons. So let's put in Bart. Do I want to do another character? Yes. How about Marge? Would you like to add another character? Yes. How about, let's say Lisa? And now I'm going to say no, that I don't want to add another character. So I'm going to say no, no. Then it asks, hey, would you like to add another TV show? Yes or no? And I'm going to type in yes. So it says, let's add another TV show. Type in the name of the TV show you want to keep track of. So let's type in another TV show that's out there. So let's say Star Trek. Great, let's add some characters. So type in one of the names of the characters. So let's say Picard. Would you like to add another character? Yes. And let's say Data, the robot, because he's one of my favorites. And let's add one more. So yes. And we'll say Worf. He's the Klingon of the group. Then let's say no, that I don't want to add any other characters. Then it says, do you want to add another TV show? Because we finished creating all the characters that go with Star Trek, but do we want to add another TV show to it? And I typed in yes to get to Star Trek, so this time I'm going to type in no. Then it outputs all the different TV shows and their associated characters. So the first one we did was Simpsons, and here is the loop that's going to spit out all of the characters that are associated with Simpsons. So Homer, Bart, Marge, and Lisa. Then it goes to the next one, and the next big kind of a thing is the TV show, and so that's going to be Star Trek, and then the three characters that we put in from Star Trek. All right, so this is an example of what we're going to be building together, and we're going to be utilizing everything that we've learned in the course so far. Let's get started. So we created our blank solution first, and right off the bat, what we have to do is we have to set up the dictionary to hold the TV shows and character lists. Okay, so dictionary comes first, but remember, if I start typing this out, it's going to be like, what are you talking about? Because I don't know what a dictionary is. So we always have to make sure that we have to set up our using commands up here. So a couple different ways we did it before was just to use the quick solution right here when you click on the light bulbs and the quick fix of using system.collections.generic, or we could come up to the top and just press return to give us an extra space up there and just type it in ourselves. Using systems.collections.generic, and then a semicolon. And as soon as we do, notice that now dictionaries says, oh, I now know what you're talking about. You meant dictionary. And I'm like, yes, I did. So we finish out the word dictionary. We have our open and closing carets. And now we need to know what the key is going to be and the value pair. Okay, so remember, the key is kind of like the label of the variable, and the value is going to be the thing we're keeping track of. So what data type is this going to be? So the key is going to be a string. How do I know that? Well, what am I keeping track of, right? It's going to be the TV show name, because that's going to be the main thing that we're keeping track of for each different show. So a TV show name is nothing but a string. So let's go ahead and put that in. If I spell it right. String, there we go. And then we have a comma, and now I need the value. So what is the value here? Well, the value is going to be the list of character names. So what is a list of character names going to be? Well, a list of character names, so one character name is a string, so if I need multiple of them, it could either be an array of strings or a list of strings. But why would I choose a list over an array? Now, the reason I would choose a list is because I don't know how many characters the user is going to be typing in for each different show. So with a list, remember, the length or the count, you can always add or remove members. So we can start with an empty list and then just add as many different characters as we want. If we used an array, I would have to say, hey, you can only type in 3 characters per every TV show, which really isn't what we want to do. Okay? So this is a list of characters. So this is going to be a string list. String list. Whoops. All right, so how do I put that as a data type? Well, the data type is list, and then an open and closing carets. And then inside of those carets, it's going to be the data type that I'm keeping track of, and that's going to be a string. So the key is a string, the name of the TV show. The character list is going to be a list of string elements. All right. Now we can go ahead and name it. So let's call this one, this is going to be the name for our dictionary. So TV show characters. Then I have to set it equal to the keyword of new, a new what? A new dictionary using the same key and same value. So go ahead and double click on that. Then an open and closing parentheses and a semicolon to start it. All right. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some of the other variables we're going to be using because we're going to be creating some different loops, and we don't want to create a variable inside of a loop because then that variable is only going to live inside of a loop. So you have to create the variable first, then you can utilize it inside of the loops. So I'm going to create the variables I need here, not inside of the loops. Okay, so the first variable that I need is creating a variable to hold one TV show name. And it's going to be whatever we're talking about at that particular time, because each time we loop this, we're going to need a different TV show name. And then once we get a name and a full character list, we can then put them inside of our dictionary. Okay, so let's go ahead and create it here. String and TV show name, and a semicolon. Then we're going to need to create a variable to hold one character name before it gets put in the list. So that's going to be a string. Let's say character name. And I'm also not giving these any starting values because right now they're just going to be null because I'm going to fill them in later on in my code. So these are just starting them up so we have some variables that we can utilize. And finally, one more. Let's create a list of strings to hold the character name list. All right, so the data type is list. Open closing carets, and inside of there, the data type we're keeping track of. So this is going to be a string, because remember, it is going to be a list of character names, and it is eventually going to be put inside of our dictionary as the value pair. So this is going to be our key, this is going to be our value pair, right? This variable is going to be one element inside of our main list as well. Okay, so let's just put this one as all characters equals a new list open closing carets with string inside of it, and an open and closing parentheses and a semicolon. So that will get that started. All right. We are ready to begin. So the first thing we want to do after setting up all of our variables is to welcome the user and explain the program. There's nothing more frustrating from a user when they just start it and then it starts asking them questions without actually knowing why we need the information. So like explain to them what we're doing. So let's just do a console.writeLine. Anytime we're talking to the user, that's a good idea. Then we're going to put inside of it a set of double quotes. And inside of that, let's say hello and welcome to the TV character list tracker. Then a next line down there. Let's do another console WriteLine. Inside of that, a set of double quotes. Inside of those double quotes, I'll start with the \r, \n n. Then let's put this program will help you keep track of the characters from your favorite TV shows. All right. So that is going to be the start of it, and it's at least going to explain to the user a little bit about what we're going to be doing. Let's go ahead and run that just to make sure that our variables are being created, and then we have two outputs to the user. And there we go. All right, so this is where I'm going to end this video. In the next video, we're going to start building our loops that are going to make this continue to run.